The FIFA World Cup 2026 is drawing nearer and nearer, and every few days something seems to be happening that tells you that yes, World Cup season is very much going to be upon us once again. And the latest thing that happened was, well, something quite significant. The draw featuring all of the 48 teams, many of whom I may note haven't qualified yet, but with most having already been done, the draw has been determined, and now we know which teams will be in which groups and what the potential pathways are for each and every one of those teams. So in this video, what we're going to do is go over all of the 12 groups, and yes, there are 12 groups now because it's an expanded 48 team tournament, and more importantly, what it is that each team will have to do to actually qualify, and also what it is that the third best placed teams will have to do, because again, there are going to be teams that qualify by that route as well. So let's start off with the groups one by one, and we'll quickly go over some of them, because again, a lot of them they're not as tough groups, let's say, as what is used to in the past, which again makes sense considering you've expanded the tournament. So let's quickly see how it is. Group A, you've got Mexico, South Africa, South Korea, and the UEFA playoff winner D. Now, obviously, Mexico will be there, South Africa, and this is an interesting one. You could very well see South Africa and Mexico open the tournament again. So it takes you back all the way to 2010. So that's going to be interesting. And obviously, one team yet to be determined, and it will be the winner of UEFA, the playoff winner D, because there's still a few spots, and you'll see a few more like these in the groups. Not perhaps one of the tougher groups. I'd say Mexico and South Korea would be one of the favorites as things stand, but wait until the European team qualifies before we can really make a call. Group B, you've got Canada, another host. You've got UEFA playoff winner A, Qatar, and Switzerland. Again, one group that would potentially be a little tough because, again, Canada, one of the hosts, they'll have home advantage. Qatar are a strong team in Asia. But UEFA playoff winner A and Switzerland will arguably be the two favorites. Let's see, though, if an upset can be made. Group C now, and in Group C, you've got, this is a fairly strong group to some degree. Haiti and Scotland, obviously, you'd say perhaps not one of the strongest teams, but Brazil, always five-time World Cup winners. Morocco stunned everyone with their run to third place in 2022, and that side have gotten plenty of talent even since then. So I'd say they're definitely one of those teams that will be giving a challenge. Now, we've got Group D. The other hosts, United States are there. You've got a UEFA playoff winner C, and you've got Paraguay and Australia. Again, this is one of those groups that seems fairly straightforward. Australia and US could be favorites for now, but it really depends on which UEFA team comes in. Paraguay, perhaps not going to be that much of a factor. Now, you look at Group E, and this is where things start getting really interesting, because you've got Germany, the Ivory Coast, and Ecuador. Three teams who have some sense of pedigree when it comes to at least qualifying regularly. In Germany's case, they're four-time winners. Curacao, very interesting. First time ever they're qualifying. They have a population of about 150,000 people. For Indian viewers, that's 150,000 people. That's not a big population. They've still qualified for the World Cup. Very impressive indeed that they managed to make it this far. How it is they do, we don't know at this point, but it is going to be interesting seeing their journey, although they could have perhaps gotten an easier group, but the luck of the draw is exactly like that. Again, Germany and Ivory Coast start as clear favorites in this particular group. Group F, and again, this one could be an interesting one depending on which UEFA team ends up coming in from the UEFA playoff winner B. Otherwise, you've got Netherlands. Again, they're three-time World Cup finalists, never having won a World Cup. You've got Japan, Asian heavyweights, and you've got Tunisia. So it really will depend so far, this group, on which European team comes in, which again is the case for a lot of these groups. Group G, and this is probably again one of those groups you can really call. You've got Belgium, Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand. Belgium and Egypt would probably start as the two stronger teams here. New Zealand aren't really a big force when it comes to football. And Iran, whilst they are Asian heavyweights, I would say Egypt would be starting as the slight advantages, with Belgium being the outright favorites to top the group. Let's look at the other group now. You've got Group H, and again, this is a fairly, you can say, interesting group, because you do have Saudi Arabia. Remember, they caused a big upset when they beat Argentina last year, but of course that was the only win they got. That being said, they're a strong team. Spain, World Cup winners. Uruguay, two-time World Cup winners. Spain also, remember, current Euro champions. Cape Verde Islands, again, first time, but how it is that they do, they couldn't have drawn arguably a worse group than this one, because you've got heavyweights from each continent going up against Cape Verde. So feel a little sorry for them, but the experience of it should still be good for them. Now you're getting to the interesting ones. This group for me is very interesting. Group I, you've got France, Senegal, and Norway. This is already a very strong group, and you'll have the FIFA Intercontinental Playoff winner number 2 coming into this group. But even if the third team is a weak one, just theoretically, I think France, Senegal, and Norway already makes this the toughest group that we've come across so far. And what it also does is takes my memory back to 2002. France and Senegal were paired in the same group even then, and France came in defending world champions. Senegal ended up beating them in the first round, and it reached a point that France didn't even qualify for the knockout. So that'll bring back some memories. Who it is that the playoff winner will be, we don't know. But again, Norway have a lot of talent. Of course, there's Erling Haaland, there's a Martin Odegaard. There's plenty of talent in this side. It's the first time they're qualifying since the 90s. So it's a 30-year wait that is coming to an end really for them. How it is that they do will also be interesting to watch. So this really for me is probably the toughest group. Then you've got Group J. Argentina, defending world champions, are in this group, but again, it's not a very tough one. You've got Algeria, Austria, and Jordan. Argentina have a fairly easy pathway into the knockouts if they can keep their form about them. Algeria are a decent side, they're not great. Austria too, you can say the same thing. Well organized, coached by Ralph Rangnick. But again, are they a team that I'd be expecting to topple giants? Perhaps not. And the same can be said about Jordan. Then you've got Group K. Portugal, Uzbekistan, and Colombia so far are the 3 teams that will make them up. And of course, the FIFA Intercontinental Playoff winner 1 will join them. Again, for Portugal, I'd say a fairly easy group. Uzbekistan aren't going to be uprooting too many trees. Colombia, a decent side, but not so much right now. Don't forget, they were finalists also in the Copa America of 2024. So they're a good side. How it is they are in World Cup, though, bit of an unknown. Even for Portugal, making it to the next round shouldn't be an issue. And then you've got the last group, not the least, Group L. And this one, again, is the second strongest of the group sides. So you've got England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. Panama, obviously, the clear and obvious weak link in this particular group. England, Croatia, don't forget, they've got a little bit of history there in that particular this thing. Then these 2 teams, Ghana, also a good team when it comes to FIFA World Cups and AFCONs. So it's a strong group, but it is still, as I said, the second strongest group. The strongest for me will, of course, be this one, and even with the IC playoff winner coming in, it'll be a very strong group. So these are what the groups look like, and as I said, it's fairly simplistic. None of the groups really, previously you've reached a point where you've had multiple groups actually look very good, and at least 1 or 2 guaranteed groups of death. Obviously not the case right now, but qualifying for the round of 32, as it is now known, is going to become very interesting, because you've had a round of 16 since 1998 in the World Cup. Obviously, that's changed now. Of the 48 teams, 32 will make it through into the knockout. So you've got a round of 32, then a round of 16, then a quarters, semis, and finals. So it becomes even more imperative to understand how it is that FIFA determines the tie breaks, how it is that they'll determine how it is that a team makes it through from second, third, etc. Now, let's go over first the tiebreakers for groups in general. So suppose, for instance, what happens is the 3 teams finish level on points. Then, how do you break the ties? First off, you'll look at who it is that got the most points in games between the teams. So, if you have 3 teams, if there's one team that's gotten more points against the other 2, they'll be given automatic preference. Then the next 2 will be seen. Then, if that also is still even, goal difference, whichever team has the superior goal difference from those 3 teams in the games between those 2 teams will be given preference. If goal difference also can't separate them, then you've got goals scored. You'll never see goals against, it'll only be how many goals you've scored. Then after that, you'll reach a point where the overall group goal difference will become a tiebreaker. If even that doesn't do it, overall most goals scored. If that doesn't do it, then the team conduct, because again, that is also something that's looked at, how many yellow cards, red cards, fair play, all of these things. And last but not the least, if nothing else can break them up, FIFA ranking. What is their FIFA ranking coming into the tournament? That is going to be the major tiebreaker for these teams. So as I said, it's an exhaustive list and one that is worth looking at, because now there's far more teams that will be making it into the round of 16. Now, or the round of 32, sorry, the knockouts. Why it is I say that is because obviously you've got 12 groups. So 12 groups, 2 teams are guaranteed qualifying, the top 2, which means 24 teams, but 8 more teams still need to be added, which means that what becomes important is which are the teams that are finishing third and have the most number of points. But what if points doesn't come into play? What if not? They've caught. This is how you'll determine which are the 8 best third place teams that will qualify. First off, you'll obviously look at points. But if there is a gap in terms of points, or if there's no gap in terms of points, then you look at overall goal difference. Whichever team has superior goal difference will make it through. If not goal difference, that doesn't separate them, then it's goals scored. Goals scored are also level. Then it'll come down to team conduct, yellow cards, red cards, fair play. And if nothing else, then it's going to be the FIFA ranking. So keep all of this in mind, because it will be important in determining which teams can potentially make it into the next round. So that is our major lowdown on everything that you can expect from this FIFA World Cup. Obviously, there's a lot, because there's obviously a lot of teams, and also now more teams making it into the knockout. So it's a new format, should be fairly exciting. But you guys can let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are on the groups, whether or not the group stage will be exciting, or if you're looking forward to the knockouts more. And don't forget, as always, to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us also on social media. We're on Instagram, X, and Facebook, and stay tuned for more such videos from the world of sport.